working in a mix, oftentimes I'll simply solo each track before even starting the mix and start to get my gain staging right, because I don't want to send signals too hot into a plugin or too low into a plugin. I want them to be just right. So, hey man, are VU meters even relevant in today's recording and mixing studios? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from Wavy.com. And if you don't know yet, this channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. So what you waiting on to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, to turn that notification bell on, and drop down in the comments and say, Wavy, what up, baby? First off, let's give a big shout out to Hayakumo. Hayakumo is sponsoring this video, and they sent me one of their Foreno VU meters. This VU meter is the highest quality VU meter I've ever had, that's for sure. But it's made out of quality materials. You can tell that it's just a precision professional instrument. So if you're interested in a high quality VU meter for your studio, I'll leave the link down to the Hayakumo Foreno down in the description below. Now, let's get to the topic of this video, man. Are VU meters even necessary? What are they good for? And how can you use them in conjunction with your DAW? No, you don't need to go out and buy one of these fancy VU meters. But if you do, tell them I sent you. If you look back at all of these old school studio pictures and videos, VU meters are pretty much everywhere. But now they've been replaced by dBFS meters. Those are decibels at full scale meters, or peak meters, which we are using in our DAW. Those meters are telling us two totally different stories. One thing to know is that a VU meter shows the average moment-to-moment volume of an instrument in your mix. That's different than a dBFS meter, because the dBFS meter shows the exact volume of the signal at each moment. Now, with that said, technically, the dBFS meter is more accurate, but our ears hear loudness and perceive loudness in averages. So the VU meter is going to give us a visual representation that's a lot closer to what our ears are hearing. Another way to think about this is that full scale meters show volume while VU meters show loudness. And when you're looking at a VU meter, what you're seeing is the energy of the instrument, and that's going to be a whole lot closer to what your listeners are going to be hearing. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that most plugins that we're going to be using for our mixing are optimized to work best with a specific signal level. And most of the time, that's right around about -18 to -15 dBFS. All right. So when I'm working in a mix, oftentimes I'll simply solo each track before even starting the mix and start to get my gain staging right, because I don't want to send signals too hot into a plugin or too low into a plugin. I want them to be just right. So I'm just going to solo this one track at a time. And as I solo it, let's take a look at what's happening on my VU meter. Now, I will also mention that my VU meter right now is calibrated to -15. So what that means is that when you see the 0 on the VU meter, that 0 actually is representing -15 dBFS, okay? A lot of times you will calibrate to -18, but I like to calibrate to -15 because I want my mixes to be a little bit more louder. You can calibrate to whatever the hell you want to, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and solo this bass track here. Let's take a look at how the VU meter is responding. Okay, so as that bass is playing, it's really slamming my meters right now. So this letting me know that that bass is just way too loud, and going to into any plugins or anything like that, it's gonna potentially either overload the plugin, especially once all these tracks come together. They're really going to just start to eat up all my headroom. That's another thing that I should mention. Basically, by calibrating my VU meter to -15, that means I have about 15 dB of headroom in the mix. That's going to be plenty to compensate for any overs or peaks in the mix. So, yeah. So what I want to do to actually fix this signal being so loud is actually use my clip gain. And I'm just going to watch my meters until I get that signal down where I want it. Cool. And so now on my VU meter, I'm averaging right about -2 to 0 VU on that bass. And that's going to be a great starting spot for my mix. I can do the same thing with every track in my mix. VU meters are also great to see how much dynamics is happening in a signal, because that meter is really going to jump if something is really dynamic. And that can help you with even setting your levels. For example, if you have a snare that's too loud in your mix, it's going to really push that needle when that snare hits, and you'll know, hey, that snare is not balanced in. It's just too loud over everything else. One little secret is that I often allow my peaks to go a little bit over the 0. Remember that I have 15 dB of headroom to work with here. So if my kicks and my snares just kind of peak over the 0 a little bit, it's not a huge deal to me. Just not so much, but just a little bit is okay. Oh yeah, and now we're averaging right about 0 VU on my VU meter, and we're ready to start really mixing these tracks. I hope this tutorial has been helpful for you. Using a VU meter can really help you to get the more accurate loudness that you're looking for in your mixes. I'll link some free and downloadable plugin versions of VU meters, as well as the Foreno VU meter, in the description. All right, I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyWayne.com. Check out my website for a whole lot more great tips and tools to help you record and mix better and faster. Be dope. Hey man, I forgot to add one thing. My mixing calendar just opened back up. So if you've been struggling to get the sound you want on a mix, let's team up together and work with a professional to add some sauce on your next release, all right? So go ahead, drop down in the description below, click that link to fill out my quick form so I can get all the information I need to make sure that your next mix is your best mix. Be dope.